Southwest Brawl 7 is March 31st. We're at the Jacksonwink Academy to talk with Aidan Brotherton. How you doing, sir?
I'm living the dream. How about you?
I'm doing all right. So first off, this is going to be an amateur fight. Tell us your amateur record.
I'm 2-0 in MMA. I'm happy to get my third fight on the way, and I also have some boxing, kickboxing fights, and done some jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff as well. So just happy to continue my MMA career.
And from San Marcos, Texas, you had
Yes,
said?
sir. San Marcos, Texas.
So from San Marcos, Texas, how are we here talking at the Jacksonwink Academy?
I pretty much I love the sport, so I picked all my stuff up and moved out to Albuquerque to continue my career. I know that's one of the top gyms in the world. I would consider it the best gym in the world, so I figured to be the best, you gotta train with the best.
When did you start martial arts?
At about 13 years ago, I was 7. So, and I haven't really stopped much since. I've taken a couple breaks from injuries, but I've been pretty much continuously training.
What was that first martial art you got into?
I started Kung Fu as my first martial art, and my first sport martial art was boxing.
How did you get into Kung Fu?
My father actually got me in Kung Fu. We trained at the same place, so at a very young age, I was already realized that it was useful to be interested in. It was a fun sport, and it keeps you healthy, keeps you happy. So I immediately fell in love with it.
What's that like, sharing that bond, you and your father?
I would say that's definitely an advantage because I'm sure a lot of people, their family looks at them crazy, like you want to do what, but I pretty much had support throughout my career, which has been very beneficial.
How'd you transfer over to boxing?
I wanted physical contact. I wanted to be, in Kung Fu we did point sparring stuff where it was half contact, and I wanted to fully hit someone in the face, and I knew that from a young age that I wanted full contact.
What was amateur boxing like?
Amateur boxing, amateur boxing was a very good start for me. I had a lot of fun. I had a 2-time world champion, IBA champion boxing coach, Manny Cepeda, and we had a lot of good Golden Gloves guys I was fighting with, and just from 14, 15 years old, I was already fighting with grown men and sparring and getting to know what it's actually like to get hit in the face and actually be in a fight. So it's a very good experience for me. It's helped my MMA a lot.
When did MMA come into the thought process, come into your perspective?
Probably by the time I was about 16, I realized that I used to want to be a boxing champion, but I realized that it's very one-dimensional, so I started looking to move on to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and picked up some kickboxing and some other martial arts that would just help me with the all-around game.
So how long do you feel you've been studying MMA?
I think a good 5 years I've been doing MMA, so with all the intentions to be in the UFC, and I would like to be a world champion someday, and just want to continue this my whole life. I plan on coaching when I'm done fighting, so it's my life.
Tell us about passion. Tell us about your drive for the sport.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's just I love it because I have a lot of built up energy that the mixed martial arts just helps me. It's like a form of meditation to me. I get all my energy out, and I have something to focus on, and I have something that I can have a goal for the end of the week, the end of the month, and there's always something that you can continuously learn. There's always something you continuously improve on, so it's just never-ending fun.
Do you have a vision of the kind of fighter you want to become?
Not necessarily. I just want to be completely adaptable and well-rounded in all areas. I don't have anyone specific I want to look like or anything. I want to be myself and just the best version of myself. So.
Are there people, though, that you look at, compared to your frame or your weight class or your style, your background, that you do pull some parts from? Not fully, but
Yes. I like John Jones. I like Stephen Thompson, Carlos Condit, Conor McGregor. I like lanky strikers that very technical styles where they put combos together.
I didn't know if it was going to be unfair to bring up Stephen Thompson and Michael Page, considering you said, point kung fu starting, and I'm
Yes.
like, I've heard of a couple other guys that kind of started off that way. Have you had any inspiration from kind of seeing those guys cross over?
Yes, definitely. I could tell that the style. There's people that made the style work for them, and they adapted to MMA. But things like Lyoto Machida, Stephen Thompson, like all those guys, I grew up watching, and it was inspirational to see that I could use that type of style and make it work in the cage.
Talking about that you came here to what you feel is the best gym in the world to train. What was that like stepping in here the first day?
It was very nerve-wracking. I remember that when I walked in, it was a very busy time there was a lot of people in camps. John Jones is getting ready for Cormier his first time, and there was, it's full of talent, and there's cameras everywhere. There's people that I've been watching my entire life on TV, and now I'm in the same room as them, training with them. So it was a very surreal moment, but now I feel completely comfortable and at home here, and that's an even odder feeling that something that was so weird at first has become my normal day-to-day life.
You step in the cage March 31st. What improvements are you looking to showcase in your game?
I don't think there's any specific part of my game. I think that I've completely well-rounded my game. I've been working with very good wrestlers, working on my jiu-jitsu, working my striking, of course, and just I want to be completely well-rounded and plan to showcase that I've changed from just striking predominantly to I'm learning my other game, and I'm prepared for anything.
Jonathan Green's the opponent. Do you have any knowledge of him?
I actually don't have any knowledge of him, but that's fine with me. I'm just going in there to fight, and I'll adapt as the fight comes. And I don't need to study the guy or be ready for anything specific. I just need to go in there and be ready to fight.
With the bigger goals of UFC world titles in the future, do you have a certain mentality or specific goals for this amateur run?
As an amateur, I want to make sure that there's no gaps in my game, that I completely fix all the little details. I have my basics completely adapt, and I'm ready to go. I want to make sure that when I get to the pro level that I'm not making mistakes I could have made as an amateur, and I want to be completely ready for whoever they give me as a professional.
What do the fans need to know when they come to see you in action?
They just need to know that every time I show up, I'm ready to fight. I'm not here to win by points. I'm not here to dance around. Like I come to finish my opponents every fight. I look for a finish. I fight my heart out every time, and I'm ready to put on a show every time.
You've had a lot of amateur experience already, so I'll ask if you can think back to that first boxing match. You remember what was going through your head before it happened?
Yes. I think my very first fight, I was pretty nervous. It was a very weird feeling to have your hands wrapped, have your coaches talking to you, seeing other people coming out of the ring either unconscious or bloody, and all the things that can happen in a fight. But nowadays I realize that it's another day in the office, and you just got to go in there with a calm mindset, calm and composed, and be ready for war.
Was it different from the amateur boxing experience, the first amateur MMA fight?
The first amateur MMA experience, I got some of the same feelings. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I knew that I was prepared. I've been putting in work for a very long time, and I work very hard. I pride myself on the fact that I'm willing to push when other people are resting. So I understood that this is mine for the taking. I just have to be ready for it.
What's the best lesson you've learned in those first two amateur cage fights?
Be ready for adversity. Like, you have a plan in your head that you think a fight's going to go a certain way, and it doesn't always go the way that you planned it, but you just have to be ready to adapt to it and move on and stay on top.
How can fans follow you on social media?
I have an Instagram that is Aidan Apex they could follow me on, and I post a lot of my fighting stuff that I do here and around wherever I'm training. So, definitely follow me on my Instagram.
People you need to thank and shout out to?
I'll just say thank you, Jacksonwink, John. Thank you, my coaches, all my training partners. Thank you, my family, for supporting me, and everybody that's been a part of the journey. I've trained with a lot of different people that I've learned a lot of different lessons from. So it'll be a long list to say everyone's names, but I'm sure you know who you are, so thank you.
American Fight League presents Southwest Brawl 7, March 31st. We'll see you guys in Las Cruces.